Hello everybody, we are back here on the Hunter Call of the Wild. Today was the Expansive Worlds weekly live stream, and Jaxie Beard showed off a lot of cool stuff. He showed off the first glimpse of Australia, including the entire overlook of the map, which is something that a lot of us have been eager to see just to get a feel for what the layout's going to be like. So let's go ahead and show that right now. This is the layout of the map. It honestly does not look too bad. It looks like there's very minimal water, which is kind of cool. Jaxie even mentioned that a lot of the time when he's hunting this map, he's actually been hunting away from the water. Apparently the feed zone and rest zone hunting is pretty good, so you're not forced to go to water to get the drink zones. Apparently it's going to be pretty good with whatever zones you're trying to hunt. Also, just a heads up, this is the first recording of the day. It's like 10 a.m. in the morning. Apologies if my voice sounds a little bit rough. I always have pretty bad allergies, so mornings are rough. But we're going to get through it, and we're going to go through all the things that Jaxie showed off during this live stream, because there was a lot. There's a lot of things we did not know about that's going to happen with this update, and there's actually a lot of animals that are going to get reset that we did not realize at first. But it turns out there's some pretty good reasonings for these animals getting reset. Now, the first one is obviously fallow deer are getting their great one and they're getting their fur reworked, which will mean they will need to be reset. We already knew that. That was something that was known last week. However, there is more species that are going to get resets because they're getting some major changes, including some new Truracs species. So let's go ahead and go over those. First of all, the red deer and the feral goat will get a population reset because they're getting their furs reworked completely. We saw a little bit of the feral goat via that image they posted on the Steam DLC page for Emerald Coast, as well as Jaxie looked at a few of them in-game during this stream. But the feral goats and red deer are getting fur reworks, and from what Jaxie was saying, it seems like they're going to look a lot better than they did before, which is really good to hear. And then this right here is probably the most exciting and shocking part of all of this. Springbok, Euro bison, and plains bison are all getting Truracs. I've never seen them do more than one Trurac species at a time, except for the original implementation of it. This is the most Trurac species we've ever got as part of an update, which is really huge. This was already the biggest update they've ever released, and now it's even bigger considering we're getting 3 new Trurac species, being the Springbok, Euro bison, and plains bison. That means we're going to have to go and get the Truracs diamonds of each of these. So if you guys have not got your legacy horns versions of those, be sure to go out and get them before the update. As of now, we don't know when the update's going to be. Jaxie did say that the build has not been pushed out for certification yet, which I'd say that probably means it's at least a couple weeks away. So you guys have plenty of time to go out for a Springbok diamond, Euro bison, or plains bison diamond before they get their horns changed forever. The other thing that is really interesting is gators are getting an aggression and behavior change. Jaxie explained that the alligators are going to be a lot more aggressive now, and they're also going to spend more time on land and less time in water, which is honestly huge. That was a much needed change for the gators, and it's going to completely change the way that Mississippi feels whenever you're going for those gators. And apparently the crocodiles are going to have the same style of behavior, so that's really nice to see. Another thing that kind of took me by surprise is bobcats are getting need zone changes, including a change to their drink time. This was a much needed change. If you guys have ever tried hunting pronghorn on Rancho, you will know how big of a problem the bobcats were. They made it impossible to hunt pronghorn. You could never find any pronghorn in their drink time, and it was just not fun. So I'm really glad to hear that they've made these changes. Jaxie Beard also showed off the first outpost of Australia that you will go to whenever you start the game, and it looks pretty clean. It definitely looks more detailed than a lot of the outposts that we've had in the past, so let's roll a little bit of the footage from Jaxie kind of exploring this little outpost real quickly.
This is the very first outpost in which you will travel here on Emerald Coast, and it has a feeling of the working outback. So cool. I can't wait to see an army of players loaded up, ready to battle with the Roos, because man, they are relentless. They will beat you down. Like, you know, everything's trying to kill you in Australia. It's Just absolutely great. But with this outpost comes a lot of love from our devs. I think you're going to see this. We're going to go take a little poke around here. But here we are. Welcome. Nice little place to hang out with your friends here at the, what's the actual name? I don't even know the actual name. Soph's place. Now, a lot of this is going to be explained in the actual story itself. Like a hunting lodge destination in the outback. Like we've got portables. We've got, I don't know if it's the business end of the stick or how it goes, but it's what I kind of expect if I was to go and stay somewhere. It's just kind of neat. Some of these, let's see, I think it's these ones. Was it those there over here? Some of these you can actually interact with, and you can get in, and I don't know, we need to, obviously, this needs a clean. Little things that, really, we don't need it to be there. But it's a working farm, baby. Things are happening. Things are grooving. I like the little touches. That's our artists having too much fun. So it's this guy here. If you're coming in, now I'll tell you, this is the only. They don't all look like this. You should see what they look like. But it's kind of cool the way it makes you feel like you've come and you've showed up to work, because you don't have access to every single one. You got your time change, right? And you've got your cash and everything kicking it over here. We won't go into all that right now. You guys know what to expect there.
Jaxie also clarified a little bit on how need zones and home ranges work. This was something I did not expect them to really tell us, because they've always been kind of secretive as to how need zones and home ranges and stuff like that works. But according to Jaxie, need zones are not really as important as we originally thought. Obviously, if you're doing a grind, you don't want to be deleting zones constantly, because then you just got to move your tents every time that happens. But Jaxie did kind of reveal that it's not really the need zone that matters, it's the home range. Once you know the home range of an animal, you know that even if you delete that zone, it's going to still show up within that home range, which means it seems that there is a very limited area where respawns and stuff like that can go, because that's another thing Jaxie talked about, is that respawns are actually not tied to a need zone, it seems. It seems that they're purposely making it so that they don't always go back to the same place. That was something that he talked about briefly in this stream, and that explains a lot of things. I always found it weird how, sometimes I have a few whitetail deer that kind of just bounce between my herds. And it seems like that's the reasoning. They don't always come back to the same zone. They just come back to the same general area. Which, that's honestly, I'm okay with that. It's just nice to get verification that that's how it's supposed to be. A lot of people in the past have thought that maybe they were bugged or broken, but it turns out that's just how it's supposed to work, to randomize things a little bit more and make it a bit more realistic. Jaxie also showcased the tent and ground blind customization, and my gosh, it looks pretty amazing. Now, obviously, to some people, this may not seem like it's that important of a thing, but honestly, this is pretty amazing. I'm happy with this just to give us more customization. The ability to customize things the way we want really helps make the game feel like ours, if that makes sense. It really helps with making it all feel like it's exactly the way that you want to make it, because not every single tent looks the greatest, and having 50 plus skins to go through and being able to skin them the way you want, it's definitely going to give a lot of variety in terms of what you'll see from player to player. Which brings us to the next thing, which is the Leighton Lake skin pack. We've got a brand new skin pack coming. I do believe this is probably going to be a paid one. It looks very similar to the Hirschfelden pack and the New England pack, so I imagine this will be a paid DLC. It's probably going to be $3 as they always are. So if you guys like the skins, you can get this one for probably the same price as the others. Next up, we got 2 new multi-mounts coming with Australia. That is huge. Now, obviously, you'll be able to make these multi-mounts even if you don't own Australia, but they are coming with the Australia updates, so that's really nice. Jaxie did not reveal what those multi-mounts are, but we do get 2 new multi-mounts, so that is awesome. That was something that a lot of people are always asking about and wanting to have added to the game. New multi-mounts are always welcome, because it gives us more stuff to look for and more things to build. And now we get to probably one of the most shocking and exciting parts of this update, and I honestly didn't expect this. There's been so many exciting things already talked about and shown, I never expected this to happen. Apparently, with the release of the 22-250, they did a passover on the 223. So the 223 is now a lot more powerful than it was before, and you'll be seeing footage in the background as I talk about this of Jaxie taking down some deer with the 223, and I gotta say, they really improved it. And not only is the penetration better, but it kills deer in a decently fast time, about the same speed as the 243, maybe just a tiny bit slower. But that's a huge improvement considering the 223 used to literally take about a full minute and a half just to kill a Sika deer. It was pretty bad. You'd wait an entire minute for a Sika deer to die from a lung shot. And if you guys know how weak Sika deer are, they're not exactly a strong deer. They die to literally anything. So it was pretty bad before that it took that long for the 223 to kill anything. But now it's going to be a powerhouse, which means the 223 AR just got a whole lot better. That gun is going to be a phenomenal choice now as a replacement for the 243. And that honestly adds a lot more value to the modern rifles weapon pack. That weapon pack is now probably one of the best weapon packs, if not the best in the game. Before, it was a toss-up between that one and modern rifles, or not modern rifles, but the Hunter Power Pack, as both of them gave really good options. But I think Modern Rifles Pack just took the lead for the best DLC, or best weapon DLC they've released. With the 223 buff, it's going to make it a whole lot better and probably even more popular than it already was. But anyway, guys, that is all that I had to bring to you today. This is a lot of exciting news. This update is shaping up to be probably the biggest and best update they've ever released in the Hunter Call of the Wild. I hope you guys are excited. As always, let me know what you're most excited about, as well as which species you're most excited to see, what feature you're most excited to get a chance to mess around with. And yeah, as always, if you guys are brand new to the channel, be sure to subscribe if you appreciate the amount of work that goes into making daily content here on the channel. Really do appreciate it. It helps out a ton. And yeah, I will see you all in the next one. Peace.